Hey guys, Noel here, and it is what is it? Friday. And I got a new phone, and I thought we would do a little something fun here and do a screen share live stream. So here we are. Okay, so here is me now on Saturday night because this is where the microphone stopped working on the Friday stream. So we're going to play some Neo Geo Pocket Color Sonic as our first game here. This game is, I've said it before and I'll say it again, I think the best handheld Sonic game. The physics on it are great. The characters look great. The character design looks great. It's just a very fun game to play. It is kind of a, greatest hits mashup. I think it's kind of doing what Sonic Jam on the Gamecom was trying to do, only infinitely better. And I haven't played Sonic on the Gamecom, but I really actually want to. But it does look pretty bad. But I always have had a soft spot in my heart for the Gamecom because I used to always watch episodes of The Simpsons, 1997, 1998, and they'd always show Gamecom commercials, and I always thought they were fun and looked interesting. And it also just brought me back to the world of those VHS tapes, me in high school, playing Sega Saturn, playing PlayStation, watching reruns of The Simpsons, that whole warm 1997 vibe. And the Tiger Gamecom, really encapsulates a segment of that at least. So anyway, here we see the beautiful pop art aesthetic of the green or emerald nature-based levels in most Sonic games, especially 2D Sonic games. Really starting with Sonic 1, you got Green Hill Zone, then you got Emerald Hill Zone, then you got Angel Island Zone, especially Sonic 1, also Sonic 2 as well, but there was a real kind of surreal late 80s, early 90s pop art aesthetic with, just the tiles and the kind of stylized geometry of the texture patterns of the level. Really cool. I think it would have been actually really awesome if they kept some of even the more trippy stuff, like the flying saucers in the background. I mean, I remember one of the original plans for Sonic was for it to be in a dream, and Nights into Dreams obviously took that concept and ran with it. The other big kind of brainstorm Sonic idea that got turned into a game was Ristar. So as you can see here, I'm fighting Eggman, who's got an original machine to fight me. I was playing this game on touchscreen, so it was a bit more difficult than having a controller. The actual, physics of this game feel really spot on to a Sonic game, but I felt like some of the controls to this game, my response time to certain things was a little off with the touchpad because the touchpad, when you've got buttons, it's a lot easier to have real buttons. But I mean, RetroArch handles itself well, so that these games are enjoyable and easy to play on the go. So I mean, no major complaints. But another big thing I was worried about was when holding the phone controller, I didn't want my hand to go over the microphone and, muffle things out or whatever. So here we see ourselves in the chemical plant style zone, and we're just kind of rolling around through here. I really wish a official Sega game would make the Genocide City level. I'd love to see Sonic in some kind of mechanized Blade Runner-esque level. I know that the second to last level in Sonic Spinball is based on Genocide City, so, we did actually get somewhat of a Genocide City preview, although it was totally within the Sonic Spinball game mechanics, which are, I would say an average pinball simulator made extra special by, wrapping it in Sonic lore and having Sonic and whatnot. So, because that meant something in the 90s, man. Sonic was the spirit of the age if you were in the 90s. And Sonic was cool, too, because he was made in the late 80s. He had that kind of vibrant aesthetic that a lot of 90s stuff, which was really cool, but ultimately didn't have, because they wanted to look more grungy or something like that. But Sonic very much of the Japanese flavor, which in Japan, I mean, they hung on to 80s aesthetics well throughout the late 90s and early 2000s. So, Sonic is, he represents a lot of things that I like aesthetically, in terms of the Japanese interpretation of, America too, where they tend to focus on, more of the style and idealism of the United States. I like those kinds of things, which the United States is becoming increasingly less idealistic, I guess you could say, because of all the, hedonistic narcissism that's just bombarding people every day. Noam Chomsky used to talk about the Mohawk Valley formula and bemoan it. The Mohawk Valley formula being like, oh, we're all living in, harmony, and why do you want these rabble rousers, stirring things up and making trouble for the, your ma and pa corporation, So I think it's much worse, actually, that we've gotten away from the Mohawk Valley formula for the most part, and now we just have, just these, Netflix shows or HBO shows or wannabe Netflix or HBO shows where it's just people just treating each other horribly, and that's supposed to count, as like authentic or interesting. I mean, it's kind of like ECW, right? I mean, ECW got really popular at the time because it was different, because wrestling was so sanitized and it was a novelty. But, now that, the kind of traditional positive aesthetic of wrestling, is in a lot of ways, gone or considered passé. It's very hard to bring that back. But ECW, made it interesting. But, once everybody started, doing what ECW was doing, then it just, kind of created not great standards as kind of a norm. So the same things happen with pop culture. We've all just kind of gotten kind of drilled into our heads that if it's not someone acting like a hedonistic narcissist throughout the, series, then it's just not really worth your time. And that's, I think, why you have so many people, acting like jerks. And I just remember the Frankfurt School quote about the rise of fascism in Germany. It was always like, Germany was a society that could achieve anything, but it believed in nothing. So when I see all these like nihilistic, hedonistic, narcissistic shows on, Netflix or things like that, I just think to myself, like, dude, you're literally destroying society. I mean, I'd give my left foot for the Mohawk Valley formula over that stuff, because the Mohawk Valley formula, I mean, within all these like pictures of idealism and kind of utopia of like the middle working class is the aspirations of that class. I feel like it's really the bourgeoisie that, really kind of, the so-called like, people who consider themselves on the left but are like super bourgeois in their values, you know, they tend to think of like, shows like Full House or whatever. It's like, oh, it's like banal, but then like the stuff they put forward that they pretend is authentic, because so they can like get off on it, is, I don't know, I find super annoying and destructive and voyeuristic too, because, a lot of this stuff that, ends up on like pay services, it's just like looking at dysfunctional poor people act like miserable people, it's like the reverse of Dynasty. But also it shows how out of touch you are, because like, I don't know, I feel like where I live, if I want to see people like acting like dysfunctional idiots, I'll just look out my window and see what's going on onto my neighbor's driveway. I don't need to have a pay service. It's just almost like, they want they want to like it's almost like they want to like I don't know, cosplay or visit or have like, Epcot Center version of poor people, rather than actually like sitting next to someone grungy on a bus. So anyway, here's Dr. Eggman. I had a really hard time fighting this boss with the touchpad because, as I said, sometimes my thumb would just not go on the right buttons and whatnot. So I had quite the hard time with this boss at the secret plant zone, not to be confused with the chemical plant zone. So yeah, but it was a fun, I had a fun go at it here. Obviously with Dr. Eggman, you always got to just figure out his patterns. But again, without a D-pad, I'm just using the flat screen here. I don't know, there would just be sometimes I'd miss a button, or I'd miss an arrow key or something like that. And, you don't really run into those problems with controllers. And so when I was doing this live stream, I just didn't think to sync up a controller, and I'd already started streaming, so I didn't want to have to like just kind of keep people on hold. So I was just winging it, roughing it. This fight's going fairly decent. The problem here, though, too, is if you don't have good command of the controls, then, if your ring bounces off the screen, you're not going to get it. And, one of the kind of strategic things about Sonic the Hedgehog is always being able to kind of grab those rings after you get hit, or at least just grab one ring and just milk it for as far as you can get, Here comes the boss. Rockin' and rollin'. Well, I jump on his head. I always consider the boss fights in this game to be of a good quality. It's interesting how this game did a lot of just like borrowing of old Sonic games, but they did do some cool stuff. Like they made original bosses, and it really was just like a cool, aesthetically different but on point Neo Geo Sonic port with I think just really, really spot on physics. I wish they did more. Because like the Sonic Advance games and Sonic 4 and things like that, man, it's just like they're not as good as this game. Even though, just having a lot of trouble with that boss there. So, there's that. So, let's play a different game. We'll just do a save state here. Get ourselves all set up here. So we'll navigate our way through the menu. Go through the RetroArch folders. And let's play Hokuto no Ken. We're going to play some Fist of the North Star 2. This game is cool because, unlike its Genesis counterpart, Ken does his, head blowing up martial arts, and, even though it's, violent, I feel like it's cartoony violent enough not to give you any gross out feelings, but, I don't know, just for some reason I feel like it makes the game flow better. It feels more organic than just like punching a guy and having them fly off the screen. I really feel like this game is not that hard for the actual parts where there's people that you fight. Oh, look, it's Bart. I wanted Lynn to see you again. You've grown to be a man. Yeah, so. All right, so we got next. Kenshiro here is going to take a hike here to go fight the immortal Hulk Hogan. Who, apparently borrowed some of Bart Simpson's hair gel here. But Hulk Hogan is my hero, and I love Fist of the North Star, so them combining the two is all right with me. Go, Ken, go. Well, he's not going to be X-bombering anybody today. So this game, it was always kind of weird. Like, it was a linear game, but you just had to move to different places on a chessboard that were more or less, just you moving around the board. But every once in a while, you'd like find these dungeon levels, and the dungeon levels were like the hardest thing. Because here it's just you walk forward, you punch, you don't die, you dodge. Those dungeon levels, man, it's like they just have crap flying at you at the screen from all over the place. This game has like no continues too. There is a code, which I don't know off the top of my head, to be able to like do a cheat code so that you actually do have like infinite continues. But I don't know it. And if you're just playing this game out of the box, then good luck, bro. Some of those dungeon levels can get really annoying, even though you are just walking forward. It's things like, rocks and weird things just like being chucked at you throughout the level. But, whatever. There are some people that don't like linear gameplay, and, this makes people feel like they have more freedom to move around a map instead of just kind of going forward, which, again, works for me. So this is one of those dungeon levels where there is no... or barely any fighters. You'd have to like kind of go into some, kind of small rooms to fight them. But a lot of this level is just stuff getting thrown at you and then you dying. And thus, the end of the century savior died because he tripped on a rock that was rolled at him in this filler dungeon level. Alright, come on, Ken. Another thing that was, like, weird about these dungeons is it was, like, I don't know, sometimes you'd have to, like, jump at an angle, and I didn't realize, like, there are things in this game that you do to, like, kind of charge up your jump, so, like, for the longest time, I just struggled in these dungeons, because every once in a while, there'd be a jump that would be, like, next to impossible to make, and you have to kind of get in this crouching animation, I don't know, a few inches away from where you need to be. That was always the style of the promoters of that style. All right, Ken. Time to jump on some knives, or fail to do so. This is a round where I just end up getting killed for like nothing. It's like I beat evil Hulk Hogan on steroids, but me getting whacked in the back with a, I don't know what that is. Is that a spatula or something? Well, I'm dead now. It's a different guy, and he's dead now. Oh, sweet, sweet Sega. You make the best hardware. Well, let's play a little Symphony of the Night PlayStation Edition. I mean, iPhone PlayStation Edition. Fun story, I accidentally set this game in Japanese, being the weeb that I am. And now I can't get it back into English to have easier in-game dialogue. I thought I could just change the voice actors to Japanese, but instead it changes like literally everyone I'm teaching. Reading, everything. It's just all in Japanese. I mean, you can still, this game is a pretty straightforward enough game. You can follow it. And a lot of times I would just import Japanese stuff because I like Japanese stuff. So it is nice to have more of it here. All right. Dracula's castle has occurred. And it's up to the mighty descendants of the Belmonts to show these guys what for. And much like Giorno in JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, we have a bastard son with a heart of gold. His name is Alucard, and he is going to help our other protagonists. It is the final stage of Rondo of Blood. So Richter here is going to climb the steps and whip some candles and get ready to fight Dracula. Die, monster. You don't deserve to live. Alright, what is a man? It's a disgusting pile of laundry. We don't have any bathrooms here in Castlevania. The pile of clothes in the hall has served us well enough. I don't know whose clothes those are, but I feel bad for them. Of course you would. You are made weakness by your desire for clothes that haven't been pooped on. Have at you. Society ill needs a savior like you, Dracula. I'll have you know the D on my grave stands for Dracula. Have at you. Alright, this is a quality fight right here. So yeah, you know, Dracula is just teleporting around. We're not Alucard yet, so. You know, on the phone, it's really cool. They have like attack buttons just labeled with the type of attack that you do. So I don't know, it just makes the game a little easier to follow, in my opinion. Doing pretty good here. Just lots of waiting for Dracula to respawn here. Eventually he will. This isn't even his final form. He does have a kind of a giant chimera form. Alright. Go, Richter, go. Oh, now here comes his final form. Alright, it's one of those black holes that John Teeter's always talking about. Alright, so here in the chat now, we're seeing our good friend Arrow stop by. Happy to see us streaming, but you know, at this time in the stream, my microphone was not functioning, so that's why we're going back here and listening to Delirious Noel at 11:30. I'm much more delirious, much more early than I used to be. So, oh no, time to shake it like a Polaroid picture and set it on fire. Oh, look, it's a beautiful, beautiful bridge. So more lore. They should just sell Castlevania plot summaries in notebooks. So that way the kids can enjoy them and also play Castlevania forever. Meanwhile, powerful forces struggle for the soul of the man named Alucard. He who had once traveled alongside Trevor. Cursed bloodlines, Alucard, vampiric powers. What more could you ask for? Yeah, those trees are nice in the background. And the garnish. This is a good job of capturing the vibe of Radical Dreamers. A dark visual novel. And by Radical Dreamers, I mean Dracula X. It's late and I'm delirious here. I have no idea what I'm saying. I do go on to play Radical Dreamers in the next stream. All right, here comes Alucard, just running with all his might, making a fine mailman, you know. And jump through a castle and I'm whipping things. Like that giant rat. And this other giant rat. Alright, nothing like some nice hacking and or slashing. In the chat here, like, can you hear me now? No, we cannot. I've leveled up. Did my good work. I need to get myself, you know, some new cool LA Gear shoes. Help me be able to run around the levels like Alucard over here. All right, jumping up steps, marble, all that good stuff. Good job on keeping your balance up there. Marble is notoriously slippery, much like the monsters in the Dracula's castle. So this is going to actually do it for this live stream. Hope you've enjoyed this added audio, and we'll see you next time on the Noel ComiX YouTube channel.